Welcome to my YouTube video. In this video, I'll be sharing some exciting insights and interesting perspectives on the topic of the space race during the Cold War. So, buckle up and get ready for an entertaining and informative ride. Let's blast off into the fascinating world of the space race, where the United States and the Soviet Union duked it out in an out-of-this-world competition. After World War II came to a close, the United States and the Soviet Union found themselves embroiled in a new conflict, the Cold War. And just like a high-stakes game of poker, each side was determined to prove that they had the upper hand. Enter the space race, the ultimate showdown of technology, military firepower, and political economic systems. But what caused this cosmic competition, you ask? Well, tensions between the two nations had been simmering for years, fueled by the arms race, espionage, and a clash of ideologies. And let's not forget about the Cuban Missile Crisis and that whole thing in Southeast Asia. Yeah, things were heating up faster than a rocket engine. The space race officially kicked off on October 4, 1957, when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite. Talk about a surprise attack. The US saw space as the next frontier for exploration and knew they couldn't fall behind. Plus, they weren't too keen on the idea of a Soviet missile capable of delivering a nuke into their backyard. So, in 1958, the US launched its own satellite, Explorer I, and created the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA. Eisenhower also greenlit two national security-oriented space programs to operate alongside NASA's program. The first was dedicated to military exploitation of space, and the second was code-named Corona, because, why not? Things really started to heat up in 1959 when the Soviet Union launched Luna 2, the first space probe to hit the moon. The US wasn't about to let the Soviets hog all the glory, so they launched Project Mercury to send a man into space. After testing their cone-shaped spacecraft with chimpanzees, yes, you heard that right, astronaut Alan Shepard became the first American in space in May 1961. Take that, primates. But the real goal was to land a man on the moon, and President John F. Kennedy made it clear that the US would do just that before the end of the decade. NASA's Project Apollo was born, and the race was on. It wasn't all smooth sailing, though. In January 1967, 3 astronauts tragically lost their lives in a spacecraft fire during a launch simulation. And while the US was making strides with the Apollo program, the Soviet Union's lunar landing program was facing setbacks and internal debates. But on July 20, 1969, the US claimed victory when astronauts Neil Armstrong, Edwin "Buzz" Aldrin, and Michael Collins successfully landed on the moon with the Apollo 11 mission. Armstrong even got to take one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. The Soviet Union made 4 failed attempts to launch a lunar landing craft, so we'll go ahead and say the US won this one. And that's the story of the space race, a competition that pushed the limits of technology and imagination. Who knew a little friendly rivalry could lead to such astronomical achievements? And that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and learned something new. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on the topic we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.